Good evening. Hi, I'm Doreen Castellano with East Street Productions. Welcome to the first annual Beyond the Call Gala for Tewksbury Hospital. In this video called Experience That Matters, you'll meet employees who bravely shared their moments that shaped their identities and careers, their struggles, their growths, and their journeys. I hope you enjoy this video and you have a great evening.
Can you share with us a short story of how you came to work at Tewksbury Hospital?
I come here and time was covered and everything was shut down. I was looking for a job and I work in Dunkin' Donuts part-time. And I know someone from here and I asked if they looking for somebody. I figured if they're gonna look for somebody for the hospital. That was the tough time.
So you started during COVID, which was a challenging time.
Right?
How has that time when you first started, how have things changed to now? I know it's almost uncomparable because this place is incredibly different from COVID times to post-COVID, but what's the biggest change that you have seen?
Things gotten better. The grounds are beautiful. Christmas is beautiful. 4th of July is beautiful. They buy new stuff here, new furniture, new stuff for the patients, wheelchairs, everything brand new for these patients. The best from the best.
Hi, Kathleen. I'm Doreen Castellano. We're here at Tewksbury Hospital. I'm going to interview today to go over some things and experiences that matter to you.
Okay, nice to
welcome.
meet you, Doreen. Thank you very much.
Can you share a short story of how you came to work at Tewksbury Hospital?
I certainly can. I've always wanted to work at Tewksbury Hospital ever since I moved here about 23 years ago. My son played ball right across the way here, and I used to see the hospital, and I used to work for Blue Cross Blue Shield back in the day. And then my family, the Haleys, lived in Tewksbury, and Paula Haley was a beautiful employee here. And I decided to go to do a medical cert class, and Paula Haley called me and said, Kathleen, would you like to temp at the hospital? And it was just beautiful, and that was 2014, and here we are, 2025.
How has working here aligned with your personal values?
I think it's made me a better person as far as certain things now in real life. When we leave out of here at 3 o'clock, I might do things differently now because, you know, when you work with folks as sick as our folks are, you go home and, you know, I might even just water my flowers a little more, something as silly as that, or reach out to an old aunt, or it brings you joy to bring them joy. So when you go home, I want to still continue that from 3 o'clock on. I still want to, you know, my sick neighbor across the street, my daughter in New York, like it helps you navigate the rest of your day. And you know, going on 12 years, it's in me now.
Right.
So I just keep it.
It gives you a different perspective because we get to go home every day, even though our days are long, could be challenging, but we get to go home every day and the patients have to stay here. So
And
it gives you a
that's
different
number
view.
one, Doreen.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the ticket.
Yeah.
Hi, Tyler. Welcome. This is Experiences That Matter, Tewksbury Hospital's own video project. Want to start us off with your name and where you're working?
I work in HIS as the director of the department. First off, very excited to be here. It's super exciting. We've never done anything like this in my, 15 years of being here. But yeah, very excited to get started.
Awesome. Do you mind sharing a little short story? How do you take your experience from your past and apply it to your job that you have now, or, you know, your jobs that you have had throughout your career here at Tewksbury Hospital?
If you just look at the history of the building, look at the people, the clients we serve, right? The place is rooted in history. A lot of the people that we serve, you know, we serve the underserved. And just kind of, you know, taking those things into consideration and thinking about the culture of the hospital, really those have kind of been the driving points for me moving forward, right? We all have these times when we get up and we don't necessarily want to come to work, or we don't necessarily want to, whatever the case is, right? But in this situation where, again, we serve the underserved and it's for the greater good, and the hospital is bigger than any one person, I kind of try to take those things in with me every day, and I kind of try to wear them on my shoulder as I navigate through my day or as I navigate through my interactions, because truly, if it weren't for our patients and the underserved, we wouldn't be here. So I kind of take those past experiences with me, and I carry them with me through the future.
How is working here aligned with your personal values?
For me, my personal values, I honesty, patience, the things I'm trying to teach my kids, right? Honesty, patience, resilience, indomitable spirit, right? When you come into the door and you go into one of our units, or you even talk to anybody on our workforce, you see the patience, you see the indomitable spirit, you see the resilience. And I think those principles for me, I try to make those principles show every day in my work here. And I think that when, like I said, when we look at our patients and when we look at our workforce, you can truly see those principles. And I think for me, that's everything.
Hi, Jen. I just want to start off by thanking you for joining us for Experience Matters.
First of all, thank you for including me. I'm very honored to be part of it. I have been with Tewksbury Hospital since 2016, so approaching 9 years. And I am the senior substance use disorder clinician for the Department of Public Health, and I oversee a department of 4 people.
What keeps you motivated on a challenging day?
This was easy, my team. I am very fortunate to supervise 3 very unique, very different, but very amazing people. And they keep me motivated because they challenge me and they ask me questions that I never think about. And I'm like, it brings me back to like, it puts you in that mode of like having to be creative and having to think outside the box, and that keeps me motivated. So when I'm having a tough day, just kind of talking with them, or whether it's supervision or whether it's, I share an office with somebody I supervise. She and I will have random conversations about dogs or families, or she has a real great question for me that challenges me a little bit, but gets me out of my own funk, and it makes me have to refocus my energy, and that feels really good kind of when you're able to support somebody else. So my team, and I'm just so blessed to have the 3 of them.
What everyday moments bring joy to you in your work?
Our morning huddle. You're going to say, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, what happens in morning huddle?
So C3.
Coffee, donuts?
No, I wish. No, it's literally a 5 to 10 minute conversation that the entire team on C3 has.
How is working here aligned with your personal values?
I really think the care and commitment that people show here, no matter what unit I'm on. I did not go into healthcare to not help people. So that's part of who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm a helper, whether it's my role as mom or whether it's activities, it's just who we are. And you really see that throughout the hospital here. It doesn't matter what unit you're on. The care that we have for our patient population, I say in general, we do, the commitment that everybody has is pretty amazing. And it doesn't matter if it's the housekeeper on the unit, they have as much care and commitment to that floor as does the doctor on the unit. And it's really special to see. And I think it's something that I value greatly, because it's not always been that way in other work environments I've been in. But to see kind of from top down just that care and commitment to the patients that we serve, I think that is something that I align very closely to.
Right. Hi guys, thank you for interviewing with us for Experience Matters. If you just go ahead and state your names, your department you work for, and how long you've been here.
DMH. It'll be 12 years December.
What do you do?
I'm a mental health worker now on D4.
Okay. How about you, Jade?
I'm currently in DMH staff education. I'm an RN4. I started in 2012, so 13 years. But I started on D5 and then went to D3, and now I'm doing staff ed.
I did start in housekeeping for 1 year.
Who has been an influence to you throughout your working career?
I think all of my colleagues, current, still influence me. I did have an LPN, Nancy Whitman, when I started on D5. She had been doing this longer than I'd been alive. So watching her with patients and she did meds all the time, and just watching the empathy that she had was really like influential upon how I wanted to act with the patients and how I wanted to act like with everybody. She was great. She was probably my main influence.
What keeps you motivated on challenging days?
Coffee.
I was gonna say coffee for Mark.
Coffee from Mark. I mean, for me, because we do education now, so, seeing the people that oriented and that we've trained really succeed and hear like the good things that are coming from the senior staff. Like they've really, got a good foundation. And I was like, I'm so proud we did that. And seeing them move up for promotions.
Right. How is working here aligned with your personal values?
Everybody in life, deals with certain, things and stuff like that. So I think just coming in here and treating people how, I want to be treated, taking care of people, how I would think if I had a family member here,
Right.
Would be taken care of and stuff like that. So,
Uh-huh.
I kind of take of how I interact with people out there, how I would treat somebody and help somebody out there. I'm going to do the same in here. So it was, kind of lines.
How is it working together as a married couple and going home? Do you just not talk about it? Do you just let it go?
Let it go.
Well, I think because when he worked in housekeeping and I would come home and be like quiet and just really have a bad day, he didn't understand. And that was even working in the building, but different departments,
Not
even
under
in
the
different departments is
Right.
different. With us, I mean, Will and I, we drive separate so we can decompress, but we
We didn't
talk
always
about
drive
issues.
separate.
Not like specific, but
Right,
things
right.
that have happened.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
easier to talk about it with each other because we do understand. It's made it a lot easier having both of us in DMH.
Hi, Danny. Thank you for joining us today for Experience Matters.
Thank
Could you just introduce yourself and tell me what your job title here is at the hospital?
My name's Daniel D. I used to work at Solis Home as a chief technologist. And around 2013, Dr. Reddy called me and said, Danny, Dr. DeVita need help in the rehab department. So that's why I came work in the Tewksbury Hospital.
Can you describe a challenge you faced that ultimately made you stronger?
Every day bring new challenges. I work with HD patient, like a Huntington disease
Right.
patient with Down syndrome, and geriatric patients, long-term care patients, and the patient with mental illness. Working all kinds of patients made me stronger and more confident in my skill.
What keeps you motivated on challenging days?
The patients motivate me every day. Each day is a challenge. That's why it makes my job very interesting and meaningful.
My name is Rich Roper, and I have been here at Tewksbury Hospital for 22 years and with DMH for 36 years.
Who has been an influence to you throughout your working career?
Well, I think a couple of folks come to mind, really. I think what's really been instrumental in me staying in psych is the fact that I've had a couple of family members that have mental health issues. So that really has helped me to really stay with psych and become really interested in it. And while here, Ellen Flowers, who was our most recent director of nurses prior to me, was a really big influence on really guiding me through the process. Because when I came here as a charge nurse in 2003, and it was under her leadership that I became, educator, supervisor, nurse manager, assistant director of nursing. And with her passing, became director of nursing. And to be honest with you, I never really thought that I'd be a director of nurses someday. And it's kind of amazing that I'm here where I am right now.
Can you describe a challenge you faced that ultimately made you stronger?
Well, it does relate to Ellen as well. When Ellen Flowers passed away, it really was a big challenge. And we also had, just a few months previous, also lost our nurse manager.
Right, I remember.
So we had a lot of loss in our nursing leadership. So it was really with Michelle McIntosh, who was the other assistant director of nurses. The two of us really tag teamed and worked together to really fill the void, and the term I often used at the time was, to keep the trains running and do everything we could, because there was a lot that had to be done. And we had a real huge void
Right.
not having Ellen.
Hi, Terry. Thanks for joining us today for Experience Matters. If you can just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your job title and how long you've been here.
So Terry Haley. I have worked here for almost 26 years, and I am an infection surveillance nurse.
What keeps you motivated on challenging days?
For me, it's the patients. Ultimately, that is why we're all here. And I work in infection control now, so I go through the units a lot, but there's some of your favorites that are there. So to just stop and say hello and see how they're doing. And there's one in particular on E3, whenever I walk onto the unit, he's always in the hallway. He'll always give a wave and say hello, so it makes your day. That's why we're here, so
Yeah.
continue to do that.
What positive changes have you witnessed during your time here at the hospital?
So for me, it's the changes in the administration department. I feel like they're always willing to listen if you need to speak or talk about whatever it is. And if I do, I don't feel rushed and I feel like I'm heard. I think it's amazing how a CEO walks and helps patients feed patients.
Right.
And knows all of the staff's names. To me, that's so important because you feel you're an important part of the team. So that, I think, has been a great change.
Hi, Beth.
Hey, Doreen.
I want to thank you for joining us today and agreeing to being interviewed for Experience Matters. If you could just go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us what department you work in and how many years you've been here.
My name is Beth Mulholland. I'm a clinical nurse specialist. I have been here 36 years in April. I started off in the Department of Mental Health. And then in 2020, I got an opportunity to work for the Department of Public Health. So I went down there. And it's been very interesting, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but it worked out. And I'm still here for the Department of Public Health, but 32 years for the Department of Mental Health.
How do you take your experiences from your past and apply it to your job now?
I say this all the time, but for the grace of God go I. Anyone, anytime can get sick, mentally, physically, spiritually. People get very, very sick. I love being a nurse, and I love the patients that we get here, so I have no judgment of them. I actually enjoy them. I enjoy their kindness. I enjoy how challenged they are, and yet they can still be kind.
How has working here aligned with your personal values?
My God, it's my whole life. It's my whole life.
Yeah. Hi, Holly. Thank you for joining us today for Experiences That Matter. Could you just introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I'm Holly Salmon, the Director of Respiratory Therapy here at Tewksbury Hospital. And when I started working here, I was Holly Page, and that was in 1984. So I have been working here at Tewksbury Hospital now for 41 years.
Who has been an influence to you throughout your working career?
I would say probably the biggest influence for me in my working career has been my sister Colette. And the reason is that my sister started here as an LPN and has worked here for several years, left and accelerated and continued her education, and has worked in a variety of nursing leadership positions in hospitals around the greater Merrimack Valley community. And even though she has experienced much success, the foundation of who she was as a nurse has always remained the same, which is to, roll up your sleeves, step in, and help where help is needed. And I've always admired that about her.
What keeps you motivated on challenging days?
I remind myself, this is not often an easy place to work in. And a lot of our patients here haven't had the best opportunities in life. And so I try to remind myself that, I really have had a very fortunate life. And at the end of my work day, I like to think that when I get into my car, I feel that I've done the best I can to help the patients here at Tewksbury Hospital.
Hi, Audrey. Thank you for joining us today for Experience Matters. If you could go ahead and just state your name, the department you work in, and tell us how many years you've been here.
Hi, well, I'm Audrey Galusian, formerly Audrey Daigle, and I've worked at Tewksbury Hospital for 52 years. And now I work in employee health, and I run the dental clinic.
How do you take your past experiences and apply it to your job presently?
Well, when I came here, this was an unbelievable group of people. They said they were family, and at 20 years old, I kind of went, ugh. But I will tell you, my experience with working with all these different departments and all these wonderful people over the years, I said, this helps me today. When I'm doing something different like dental, I take my experience of, working together, experience, judging the whole situation as they did.
What keeps you motivated on challenging days?
I look around and I look at the people that have an awful lot of challenges around here. And I look how they handle it every day. They're not falling apart and saying, oh, poor me. So my challenge is really nothing compared to patients that I see around here. So that's what gives me a motivation to say, listen, pull yourself out the boots and
Right. We get to go home every night.
we get to go home.
Right. What everyday moment brings you joy in your work?
I think that goes back to the patients. I mean, I see them going outside. I see staff taking them outside, taking them for a walk. Huntington's patient that wants to walk, I see a staff person going down, taking them. I see them come to visit me, too.
Right.
And stop at the door of somebody that knew me when I was on the floor, or knew me even from the dental clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going by, they have to stop.
They have to stop.
So
Everybody stops to say hi to Audrey.
it really is a nice, it is a nice feeling. And you look at the patients, as I said, they become a family too.
Right, right. What would you tell someone who's considering joining the team here at the hospital?
Well, in 2 words, I would say do it.
You know what? Just do it. Just do it.
Do it.
Do it, huh?
Do it.
I'd say go for it.